celebrations, choices, and new beginnings. Hello, my name is Paul Harvey and I am a midlife coach, and you are listening to a life, passion and business shortcast. Now, over the last few years I have spoken to hundreds of people and I've discovered that our story is everything, because what we do, feel or experience is based on the stories that we tell ourselves. This shortcast is a bite-sized episode to explore the ingredients of a good life. We bring out the thoughts, tips and tools so you can try them on for size. So let's explore and see what is possible. I was delighted this weekend to attend the graduation ceremony for my son, who's just got his BA Honours in computer games development. And it was just an amazing, proud parent here. It was amazing to be there and witness all these young people collecting their degrees and celebrating their achievements, committing to something for 4 years and being recognised for their achievements for it. And there's all this excitement around the completion of something monumental. And of course, it's also tinged with goodbyes, because many of these people are now saying goodbye to each other. They're going back home, they're going back to other countries, and the journey they've had together is now over. They're all going on to do the next thing, the new beginning. And that's what I'm talking about. This, while it is a major celebration, is a point of new beginning. Kind of ties in very well to our conversation in the podcast when I used to do more of the interview podcasts. I haven't done them for a while, and there's a reason for that, but that's for another conversation. The success question that we have in the Life, Passion, Business podcast is all about defining what success looks like. And the point is, for my son, who has had this journey through his education, success has always been about getting to this moment. It's always been about that journey to become someone who is employable, usable in the industry. And yet, of course, the future from here on in is uncertain. For the last 5 years, every day he's got up, it's always been about playing games, learning about games, learning about all these things that will take him forward. It's about networking the industry. It's about doing anything that he can do to move the needle forward in that direction. And now it's complete. And as of Monday morning, tomorrow, he gets up. He is no longer a student. He has to make the decisions himself what his day looks like. Now, all right, he's been doing that for a while in terms of choosing to study. But now he has to make different choices. And that is the point, really, isn't it? That is the thing about everything in life. At some point, the road runs out and we have to start making choices for ourselves. Choices how to move forward. And I guess it's the same in like working for a company. When you're working for a company, you know you're going to be there on a Monday morning and you know what the choice is. The choices are do what's necessary to make this company successful, to pay the bills, When you leave that company, or worse, get made redundant from that company, suddenly you have no function or purpose within that framework and you have to make some decisions and choices for yourself. And that's the fundamental thing about today's podcast, really. Life is always about choices. But here's the thing. As humans, we're not always great at making good choices. We sometimes struggle with them. I will put my hand up for that one. I spent many, many years not choosing, going through life without making choices. And a lot of people do this. A lot of people get into a comfortable situation with a job or a relationship or something, and they stick with it, not necessarily out of choice, but out of no choice. Because they are not choosing to be there, but they're not choosing to leave either. And what I failed to recognise, and what many people fail to recognise, is not choosing is a choice, just as choosing is a choice. And we have the right not to choose. And there's no judgment in that not choosing. As much as I spent years in the not choosing category, I don't judge myself for it. I recognise that was the journey I was on, not choosing. And there is the point, really. It's if you're happy in the not choosing, then the outcomes you will get will be relative to that. And as long as you're happy with the outcome, then the choice is right for you. The unchoice is right for you. The difficulty, of course, comes is when there are going to be regrets later, when there are going to be judgments about it later, recriminations about it later. Time travels on and doors close. The longer we leave something, the less opportunities are open in front of us. So we do need to make choices on certain things. That can be age related. That can be physicality related. It's like the bucket list in life. There are some things on people's bucket lists that if you want to do these things, you have to do them early, because some of those things you won't be physically capable of doing them once you reach retirement age or beyond. So that's what I was kind of referring to today, really. This conversation today, although it's about the celebration of my son's achievement, it's the recognition that now he has to choose a path. And he's entering an industry which is challenging, to say the least. The games industry is huge, but it also is undergoing a lot of change, a lot of shift and upheaval. They are constantly, the big studios have invested heavily during COVID in people, and the fallout of that is still coming. It's still coming to fruition. They're still getting rid of people. So there's lots of people in the marketplace for jobs, and openings for new people in the marketplace are less common than they were. Hence, it's very much about networking and nepotism on some level. And my son's has been aware of that and has been making some very strong network connections. He will make a choice. The choice will be that he will have to get a job, other jobs, other work to sustain him while he's waiting for the right opportunity to come along. Now, of course, the crunch point will come, as it does with everybody, is how long do you wait for that ideal job rather than invest in a career? If you're marking time in another career, waiting for an opportunity in something else to happen, you could be wasting time. And we never know the answer to these things. There is no answer. We just have to do what feels right as we go along. Many students come out of university and end up doing nothing to do with their degree. I know many people who have done this. They've spent years studying something with a view to going somewhere and never use those qualifications. And I don't know where that will lead for my own son. But what I do know about him is that he is very capable and very motivated, and he will bring those qualities to whatever he chooses to do. But where is this similar situation come about? What I notice is this is a similar situation that comes about in midlife. When the road in front of us is, obvious, we're in a career maybe, and we see this career going on to retirement, and suddenly some life change happens, be it health, be it the company goes bust or something changes, and all of a sudden the track in front of us has now gone. And now we've got to make a choice as to where to go forward, how to move to the next level. It's funny, like in my own situation, I am now doing something completely different. I was in marketing for many years, and during COVID I stopped that role and I never picked it back up again. And I'm involved in maintenance work because I thoroughly enjoy solving people's problems and putting things right and making a difference. And it's just so enriching that I made a choice to move in a different direction. Now, the choice in some way wasn't made, I didn't make that choice directly. It kind of came to me and I kept saying yes about it and things started to happen. Now, I am still coaching. I'm still involved in the coaching industry. And I have to say, not sitting at the desk all day has done me the world of good. I guess what I wanted to get to today was this idea that we have to be conscious of our choice in the world and be sure we are always choosing where we are now. And that's a really good question to ask ourselves. Did I choose this? Have I chosen to do what I'm doing now? And if I was to choose something else, what would it look like? So I guess it's kind of the choose test. And, in coaching, when we take on a new client, we always use the wheel of I can't remember the name of the thing at the moment. I guess I'm tired this afternoon. But basically, it's a wheel of the different areas of life, starting with relationships, money, and those bits and pieces. And we ask people to rate where they are from, say, 1 to 5 or 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 in those particular areas, in each area. And we look at an area which has a particular low number as something that we would like to do some work in, as in change. And it involves choice. It involves choosing again. And what I find as a coach is people really struggle with choice. I mean, how many times have you been to a restaurant and everyone struggles making a choice on a menu? So choices, even for the little things in life, is difficult. So when you've got to choose the big things in life, that can be a challenge too. So what's the answer? How do we get better at choosing? How do we get better at moving in the direction we want to go in? Where in your life do you want to make a change? Are you happy with all areas in your life? And have you chosen to be where you are? It's a good point to start. And if you haven't chosen that, where would you choose to be? And you know those questions. If money was no object, what would you choose to be doing right now? Always an interesting question, that. I think if money was no object for me, I would be doing what I'm doing now in terms of more practical maintenance work, but probably I would be more involved in something a bit more cutting edge, and I would probably be involved in something kind of developmental if money were no object. Those are things that interest me. I would be putting money in things that interest me like that in terms of some development stuff. If money were no object to you, what would you put your cash into if you had that $1 million or $10 million? What would you do with it? Down to choice again. It's always down to choice. And always remember that not choosing is just as valid a choice as making one. And you have the right to do either. The only thing you cannot do is you cannot complain about the situation you're in if you chose not to choose. And I think that's a good enough place to end this today. Choose to choose. Or choose not to. The choice is yours. If you found this interesting, do check out the podcast website at lifepassionandbusiness.com, and you will find that these are focus coaching, which is one of the tools that we use in terms of helping people who have made the choice get what they want. And if you haven't made the choice yet, we'll help you get there too. But it's all part of the process, isn't it? It's all part of that process of actually making you move towards a better life, which is what we're about. If you'd like to support this podcast, do share it with a friend or leave a comment or some stars, because that is always very, very helpful. As I said, do check out the website at lifepassionandbusiness.com. And as always, thank you so much for your time and attention. I will catch you next time. All the best.